I'm about to play a piece of music for you in which I use 5 ideas that I got from learning Stevie Ray Vaughan songs. The thing is, this piece of music is going to sound nothing like Stevie Ray. And that's the idea. I want to show you in this whole series I do of the top 5 habits of players, how to take something from another player and incorporate it into your own style or styles that are completely different so you make your own sound. But then after that, we will get to talking about exactly how it works in the Stevie Ray context too. Let's roll the mini track. Think you can guess where the 5 Stevie Ray-isms were in that little tune there? We'll dig into it in a minute, but first, welcome to Music with Marky. The first couple years I had started playing guitar, I was pretty sure I didn't like the blues at all. It was the late 80s, and it was all about hair metal, neoclassical stuff, and blazing fast solos with lots of distortion. And then I heard Stevie Ray Vaughan. The guy was playing blues in a way that spoke to me, and he had all the technical proficiency to go along with it. The first time I saw him on MTV Unplugged, they had an episode with him and another one of my favorites, Joe Satriani, and Stevie Ray just blew me away with his performance on that. I was fully in on the Texas Kool-Aid. So let's talk about the 5 ideas I got over the time of learning some of his music. We'll kind of do it more in his style, more relative to what he was doing, and then I'll come back and talk about how I applied them into my own in that little mini track there as well. Okay, before I start with the sound examples here, I should mention this thing's tuned down to E flat, same as Stevie and quite a few players back in that time, and that just means the entire guitar is tuned normal but 1/2 step lower. So thing number 1 I want to talk about is dynamics. Don't be afraid to use that little knob right there. Roll the volume back. Stevie does it all the time. He's up and down with the volume, adding dynamic range and depth of feeling to a song. Think of Voodoo Child, his version of that, about 3:30 into the song, he rolls it back. And it's how I started the other tune that we showed there, rolled back. Roll it up. So just by starting with the volume down or having the volume up and then going down in the middle of a song, having the whole band come down and you come back up, this adds some interest and some more emotional character to something. We all get used to playing with a thing turned all the way up and just with the same pick attack, always using the pick, maybe never switching to our fingers. Have some range in what you're playing. Think about spots where you can go down and come back up again to really add emotion to that part where you come back up. Now, thing number 2 is something I just did right there with it's something that's pretty common with blues players and blues rock players, but he's kind of the first guy I saw do it, so it influenced my playing right from there. And that is to use the major 6th in a pentatonic scale. So you've got the basic E minor pentatonic here. And he would throw that note in there. That's not technically in the key. In the key of E minor, you have a C. But it falls under the fingers real nicely, and you would use it a lot with double stops. Like in Cold Shot, you have that. It's a really cool sound to just occasionally throw in the minor 6, or the major 6th in the minor scale. And as you saw in the little mini song there, I used it in kind of a standard way, just double stop bending up and then playing the pentatonic there. Now, thing number 3 is also another substitution of a note you don't normally hear in a pentatonic scale. And this one really, to me, stands out as a Stevie Ray Vaughanism. And that is the use of the 9, the second note or an octave of the second note of the scale. So if you're talking about, again, E minor, you have, and you're playing the pentatonic, this note here is the 3rd, the G. So that's the root. And an example of this would be Pride and Joy at about 3 minutes and 25 seconds. So instead of doing a typical, he goes to that note instead. And that one little note opened up a whole world of stuff for me. And you saw me do it quite a bit in the mini song. I had that melody, I also started that little triplet run on the 9 instead of here. I went. So reaching for that 9 can be really cool. And he tends to only use it on the upper string. I use it a lot everywhere. I'll go down to it here. That's that same, the octave of the F sharp in that key. So I'll go to there a lot. So you can see where just one note can expound out and create something that breaks you out of that pentatonic box, but can still be relevant if you're just going to stick with the blues, if you use it in the right context. Now, the 4th and 5th tips that I got from him kind of lead one to the other. The first is to use a minor third dyad at the top of the scale, like mixing it into a solo. So I'll give you an example kind of in his style here. It's that piece right there, the G and the B. I see him do that all over the place in all different contexts. And in the little mini song I had there, I was starting with it and then building up. So I kind of expounded on the idea that he hammers in the one place. So it can lead you to the idea of these 1st and 2nd string double stops that are part of a chord. So he's got the E minor chord. Can lead you through all kinds of different expressions and ways you can do things in your own style. Things like that aren't even really relative to a blues context, but the blues idea and him expounding out of some of the more normal things that people do in the blues can lead you to, and led me to, other ideas. Now, the 5th thing is just an extension of that, and that's that he would mix entire chords into solos and really work through almost like a progression of leading up through chords. So something like I did at the end of my little mini tune there, where I just started picking the chord. All over the pedal of the low E. And he would do something in his blues funky kind of context that had more of a percussive. So the idea of just mixing triads instead of just the dyads, or thinking in terms of chords during a solo, for me it was to do it in an arpeggio, and in the blues context, kind of what I just played there. But it breaks you out of just thinking of one note at a time. And that is a big thing I took away from learning parts of Stevie Ray songs. And so those are 5 quick looks, views into Stevie Ray-isms that I picked up. I hope that it makes sense to you what I'm saying about taking them and doing something different with them and incorporating into your own sound. And maybe makes you realize that you can go out and listen to players and genres that are completely different than what you do, and have them influence you and bring things in from that playing that you never would have thought of if you were only listening to, say, metal guys or whatever it is that you're into. For me, it was like the neoclassical stuff. And as always, guys, if you have any questions or comments, anything additional to add below, please do. There's a lot of people out there who know Stevie Ray stuff inside and out, and share your thoughts on it, maybe some of your own inspirations from him, and we can all take a look at it then. And until next time, guys, keep making great music. Hey friends, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. It makes the whole world better.